Greg called from the kitchen, his tone dripping with fake concern. "You're working late again." I glanced up from my laptop, masking the irritation bubbling beneath the surface. "Big deadlines this week," I said casually. He smirked, pouring himself a glass of wine. "You've got to take it easy, Harley. Life isn't just about work. Dot, if only he knew, Dot. My name is Harley, and for the last 6 months, I've been living a double life. Not the glamorous, exciting kind, no. Mine consisted of pretending everything was fine while quietly piecing together evidence of my husband's betrayal. It started with small things, late-night meetings that didn't make sense, charges on our credit card for expensive restaurants I hadn't visited, and a faint whiff of unfamiliar perfume on his clothes. At first, I told myself I was imagining it, but one day, while organizing the mail, I found a Reseda down payment on a luxury car that wasn't for me. I confronted him lightly at first, asking about the unusual expenses. Greg, ever this smooth talker, waved it off. "Work perks," he said, with a grin. You know how my clients like to celebrate? I wanted to believe him, but something about the way he avoided my eyes told me the truth was far less innocent. So I started paying attention. It didn't take long to uncover the full picture. Greg wasn't just cheating, he was using our shared savings to fund a lifestyle for Melanie, his so-called client, expensive dinners, shopping sprees, andoza pi CEDE, RC, stance de ka. He planned to present to her as an anniversary gift. That the audacity of it all was breathtaking. Here I was, working late nights to secure our future, while he drained our accounts to impress a woman who probably couldn't spell commitment if her life depended on it. But instead of confronting him, I stayed quiet. That night, as Greg settled onto the couch, I opened my laptop and began to plan. I researched fraud reporting procedures, legal options, even repossession companies. Every keystroke was fueled by a determination I hadn't felt in years. Greg thought he was clever, but he didn't realize he'd underestimated me. If he wanted to play dirty, I was ready to clean house. For the next few weeks, I played my part perfectly. I laughed at Greg's jokes, asked about his business trips, and even pretended not to notice when he'd come home smelling like an overpriced cologne. Didn't buy for him, but behind the scenes, I was building my case. The first step, filing a fraud report. The car was purchased with our joint funds, but the dealership papers only had Greg's name, a detail I used to my advantage. I contacted the dealership under the guise of needing more information about the transaction. By the time I hung up, I had everything: dates, amounts, and proof the purchase had been made without my consent. Next, I called the bank. "I believe my account has been compromised." I told the fraud department, "There's a transaction. I didn't authorize a significant amount." They flagged the account and opened an investigation. Every step tightened the noose around Greg's scheme. Meanwhile, I kept an eye on him. Every time he smirked over his phone or whispered into it like a teenager, sneaking a call, I took mental notes. I even caught a glimpse of a text from Melanie. "Can't wait to see the surprise you promised." The surprise. The car, no doubt. The thought made my stomach turn, but it also fueled my resolve. Greg thought he was the master manipulator, but he'd forgotten one crucial thing. I knew how to wait. The anniversary plans came together almost too perfectly. Greg suggested a fancy dinner at one of the restaurants he loved to frequent with Melanie. "I want to treat you right," he said, flashing a grin that once made me swoon but now only made my skin crawl. "Sounds wonderful," I replied, masking my contempt with a sweet smile. I knew what he was doing, using the dinner as a cover to present Melanie with the car afterward, but I wasn't about to let him get away with it that night. After Greg left for another client meeting, I finalized the details with the fraud investigator. The car's purchase was flagged, and the repossession team was scheduled. Everything was set to unfold just as Greg thought he was winning. As I closed my laptop, I felt a strange sense of calm. For weeks, I'd been quietly carrying the weight of his betrayal, pretending not to notice the lies piling up around me. But now, the power had shifted. Greg had no idea his world was about to collapse.